lot of the times I go out of my way to break down moments in live plays that go beat by beat, moment by moment. I provide context, I provide how we got to this moment, and this video is not going to be one of those times. No, instead I'm going to fully focus on the incredible display of roleplay and intentional emotional storytelling, as well as the crucial techniques by the players and the DM, Brennan Lee Mulligan, that created a truly impactful moment. Now, before I get fully into the video, spoiler warning. I'm going to be talking about the very first season of Fantasy High on Dimension 20's channel, so if you want to go watch that, you can go watch it there by being a member or by going to Dropout, wherever you want to go. But the point is, I'm going to be spoiling, so there you go. There's your spoiler warning. Anyways, today we're talking about Adine. Now, Adine is a character played by Shaban, and the best way to describe her is a wizard with serious anxiety attacks. See, Adine is actually an incredible character, and I find her very fun, but I'm not going to give too much context because you really don't need a lot to appreciate the beauty of the moment that I'm going to be talking about. What you do need to understand is the other character who's involved in this moment, Jawbone. Jawbone has absolutely no business being in the position he is. He is the guidance counselor at their school, because Fantasy High is about a high school where adventurers go to learn to be adventurers. And Jawbone is a werewolf who somehow got the job of guidance counselor, and he is unhinged, insane, kind of not supposed to be there in the slightest.
The werewolf has kind of gotten up off his legs. He's still in that werewolf form. You see he goes, hey, oh, and he sees the claw mark on you. Oh, Yeah,
that really hurt. Doing, man.
It's not me, you know, it's a sickness. I'm sick. Ow.
Look, man, we're all sick.
Okay, we're not all sick.
That's actually important because it's why this moment works so well. See, many of the characters, all of the important characters in this story are high schoolers, teenagers, which means they want nothing to do with adults. They don't trust them, they don't want to focus on them, and many times in the story, the adults have proven that they are not to be trusted in the first place. So therefore, a character who seems out there, who seems to also be going against the grain, is the perfect character to be a guidance counselor, a character that the rest of the players can trust. And that's ultimately what ends up happening. Despite the fact that Jawbone is a little unhinged, he ends up being the perfect character to show up at this moment. And so what has happened is they have gotten to the end battle, a massive battle where they have to face against a dragon, and Adine at this moment, unfortunately, crucially fails one of those saving throws to avoid her panic attacks.
Make this roll with disadvantage.
Great. 9, 14.
14 does not do it.
Fuck.
This is crazy. You should be in a library. You shouldn't have been here. This is a mistake. It doesn't matter. You can't be the Elven Oracle. There's no way you could be. And you sprint into the yard.
See, Brennan has chosen to display these attacks by giving her the fear mechanic. Yes, it's just a mechanic and it's not magical in any sense. It's just meant to be there to show that this character struggles with this. And so occasionally throughout this series, Brennan has had Adine roll. She rolls to see if she has a panic attack, and in the final crucial moments of the battle, she does. And so she runs out of the high school gym where they're having the battle. A lot of this isn't gonna make sense if you don't know the series, so just go watch the series. It's amazing, okay? But she runs out of the gym and is hiding outside, at which point we get to see this.
You see Jawbone rushing up to you. Some spectacles on his thing. He goes, all right, I heard there was trouble. What's going on? He looks at you in your eyes. What do you say to Jawbone?
It's really bad!
Jesus Christ. What, is this some kind of dragon fear here?
Jawbone comes running in. He rushes towards Adine. He is there and one of the only people to help, because almost all of the other characters at this point are trapped within something called palimpsests. Palimpsests. One of those words. They are trapped within these magical gems that do not allow them to come out, but Jawbone is one of the only characters there. And he rushes towards Adine and drops down, and the first thing he asks is, what is this? Some sort of dragon fear? He assumes that she has been affected by a magical effect, but that's not the case. No, instead he begins to realize what's going on. And the thing is, this moment is so beautiful because it shows how to allow characters and players to feel like they can initiate emotional and vulnerable roleplay without putting them in an awkward space. Because watch what happens.
Look at me straight. Answer me honestly now. Do you have panic attacks a lot? Yeah? Do your parents give you anything for that?
My parents just left and I don't know where they are.
gives you a big, warm, furry hug. Listen to me right here. Having panic attacks, that is not a character flaw. Do you understand? You are not a coward. You have a goddamn medical condition, all right?
Jawbone looks at her. He asks her what's wrong. He begins to talk to her. But Brennan doesn't let this be so serious of a moment that it begins to feel like Shaban has to bear the weight of what's happening right now. Every time things begin to get just a little too serious, where it feels like Shaban might be a little more overwhelmed, because this is one of their earliest campaigns ever, mind you. So this is a lot for the players to take in. Brennan, without too far derailing things, gives a joke.
I was in a truck stop bathroom sucking off a border patrol because I was trying to sneak an iguana to my friend's place. He had a cockfight ring, all right? And I had to get it to him because the thing had been slit, stuffed up full of drugs, and sewn back together. You understand me?
No.
Now, I don't give a shit. I sucked him off anyway. You understand me?
No.
Say,
A moment to laugh, a moment for them all to experience some fun in this very emotional moment. This is a method I like to call the roller coaster method. For those of you who don't know, roller coasters work by using inertia. That first large drop that all roller coasters have are to carry the cart through the rest of the track. Many times as you're spinning and moving and going through loops, the important part is that you have enough inertia to get to the next part. This is why roller coasters have so many bumps and humps. As you begin to get down to the lowest moment, it goes up to the top, but it does need to go down again. And so in order to extend the amount a roller coaster can go, you need to have your ups and your downs. And this is what Brennan is doing. There is a moment of serious emotional vulnerability happening, and so he allows us to get to that dip, and as we go back up, he provides a joke, a moment of levity to reach that top. And then we begin to go down again. And honestly, the highest point of the inertia, the most important moment of this roller coaster ride, is where we get to one of the single most hard-hitting, hard-punching moments I have ever seen in a D&D campaign, despite the fact that this one is so silly and out there and irreverent, is this moment right here.
you're not a coward, Adon. You're sick. You just need medicine. You gotta come and talk to me. This is my job, goddammit. He reaches into his cardigan, pulls out a little thing of pills. He goes, these are for you. These are anxiety meds, all right? There is no shame in having mental illness. I'm sorry your parents didn't take care of this before. You are not wrong for having panic attacks. You understand me?
You're not a coward, Adine. You're sick. You need help. See, I have not provided context for this moment because I don't think there needs to be context for something like that. This character has assumed she's a coward. She's assumed she is not up to the task of being an adventurer. She doesn't have what it takes, and to have a character so clearly state, it's not your fault. You're not sick, you just need help, is powerful. And the thing is it's funny because Brennan spends so much time providing this moment by using this roller coaster method, by bringing us in with a joke and then being serious, being intense, being intentional, but not letting that sit so long that Shaban has to bear the weight of that moment. Again, this is the first time many of them are sitting in front of cameras to play D&D, and so what he does is he then provides it with more jokes, more laughter, more levity, which I'm just gonna let this play out because I don't really know what to say here. I'm just gonna let this moment hang for as long as copyright will let me.
I have warts on my cock and a little bit on my balls. I was gonna sell this to a guy I know. One time stabbed me in the middle of an orgy, okay? This guy, he had neurals, he had warts all over it, but I was so drunk at that point, I don't give a shit. I sucked him off anyway, you understand me?
No.
He goes through all of that many talks about dicks and warts and balls before bringing it back in and making sure it remains serious again. He provides her with levity before providing that emotional comfort. And the thing is, what's funny is this is really important for allowing your characters and your players to feel like they can be emotionally vulnerable, because what he's done is he has provided a character which can be there and will be unjudgmental. Too many times the player characters in D&D campaigns are all over the place. They're ridiculous and too far out there, and we as dungeon masters want our NPCs to be realistic, and therefore we have the NPCs treat them as the weirdos that they are. But what this does is it alienates them. It prevents them from having anybody there for them. And so when we provide an NPC who will be unjudgmental, who will be supportive, who will be there to just give them a hug, it lets the players feel safe enough to explore that emotional vulnerability that can only come with roleplay. And I think that's beautiful and amazing and so fun to watch play out at a table.
Hell yeah, I'm coming. I came here to fuck shit up and help children.
Jawbone rules. I'm so glad we helped him get his life together.
And I think that is something that many DMs miss. One of the most important things that you need to do as a dungeon master is to provide a safe place for your players to feel safe to play their characters. And Brennan does that so fantastically here in that moment. And I think it's absolutely wonderful and beautiful and really worth doing. And so Jawbone finishes up his conversation with Adine, ending with him giving her what she needs, medicine to help her with being sick, though he does so in a little bit of an irresponsible way. Dosage is important, people. Don't just down the entire bottle. We don't have cure poison spells like they do in D&D.
As many of these as you want will cure the poison damage later. Just fucking huck down a bunch of these because these got to start working right away. You understand me? Dosage is important. I want to underline that dosage is important. You need to listen to your doctor. But right now, there's a dragon who's come back to end the world, so we're just going to have you hork a couple of these down. You understand me?
It is a wonderful moment of providing a moment of growth for a character who really desperately needed it. And the thing that I love most about this moment is the fact that it does not just fix what is going on with Adine. It does not just remove everything. Yes, Brendan then says you no longer have to roll specifically the way you have been for fear, but it is still there because sometimes the most heroic thing to do isn't to magically overcome the problem, it's to realize that there is a problem to face and to ask for the help you need to take that problem on. And that is a beautiful moment to explore, and I can't imagine any better way of doing it than in the stupid TTRPG live play where they're fighting their principal. I think it's truly beautiful and absolutely wonderful. I think that honestly live plays are an amazing way of exploring these different story hooks that are difficult to do in other mediums, and I absolutely love watching them do it. So friends, thank you for joining me on this adventure. If you had any different ideas or disagreed with me or agreed with me, feel free to put it in the comments below. While you're down there, like, subscribe, all this stupid YouTube stuff. I'm supposed to say it in all of my videos, so I continue to try to put it in my videos as much as I can, even if sometimes I forget to. So go out into the world and make your own, and never forget to play your role.